Ask you a question after the meeting about gun permits. I know you were asking me a question the other day. I sent a text with you at the meeting today, so.
That one's a 5 arm, and that one's a
They
3.
know the process.
It's got the official time right there.
It's 250. Okay.
All right, it being officially 3 o'clock, I'd like to call the April 18th, 2016 meeting.
February.
Oh, I'm sorry, February
Jumping
18th,
ahead.
2016, Laconia Police Commission meeting to order. And if you could rise to the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm recording Secretary Deborah Simpkins, and present we have Commission Chairman Douglas Tatum, Commission Clerk Armin Mayhew, and Commissioner Thomas.
I'd like to recognize the staff present, Chief Christopher Adams, Captain Matthew Canfield, Lieutenant Alan Creighton, Lieutenant Thomas Sweat, and I don't see Prosecutor James Carroll here. James Sawyer, I'm sorry. Jet lag.
Yeah.
A quorum has been established, so there are 3 commission members present. I think we're going to jump the agenda up a little bit, Chief.
That's correct, Commissioner. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. It's nice to see so many family, friends, spouses. It's an exciting afternoon because we're going to be swearing in our 3 brand-new officers, the 2 Seans and Guy. So congratulations. We had quite a field to pick from. We had a lot of candidates and a lot of qualified candidates, and these 3 gentlemen rose to the top, so I'm really proud of them, and I look forward to many years with the Laconia Police Department. Today, Ann Kalajian will be swearing them in. Ann is a former city clerk. She's a bail commissioner for us. She has a long history with the department. She's sworn in many, many officers, including myself, 22 years ago, so we're always grateful for Ann when she comes here to swear in our new employees. So, why don't I ask the 3 of you guys to come on up here, and we'll get on with the ceremony. Why don't you turn around, and Lieutenant Creighton here is going to kind of give everybody a little history, background on the 3 men here today.
So then I can go over
We have
this.
Sean Kelly in the center of the group. He's from Abington, Mass. He attended Northeastern University. He has a bachelor's in criminal justice. He's most recently worked for the Whitman Police Department in Massachusetts part-time for approximately the last 3 years. And he's worked security at the Long Wharf Hotel in Boston for the past 7 years. Attending today with him is his wife, Hannah. On my side, we have Guy Leva III. He comes to us from Bradford, Mass. He was in the United States Army from 2009 to 2012. Stationed in Colorado, and he did a tour in Afghanistan. He received his associate's degree in criminal justice at Pikes Peak Community College in Colorado. And most recently, he's working in security in Boston, Massport. Attending today are his parents, Guy and Leslie Leva, his sisters, Michelle and Ashley, and several other family members by the looks. And last but not least, on the far end is Sean McCormick. Comes to us from Epping, New Hampshire. He graduated Norwich University with a bachelor's in communications. He's currently a member of the Army National Guard. Most recently was working at Walmart in Epping. And today, attending with him are his parents, Mr. and Mrs. McCormick, and other family members.
Okay. Ann, would you like to commence with the
Yeah,
ceremonies?
maybe if they back up a little.
Sure,
little
come on back.
so- There, thank you. Sorry, so, yes, okay. If you raise your right hand, please. You do solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge all duties incumbent on you as police officers for the city of Laconia, according to the rules and regulations of the Laconia Police Department, the laws of the state of New Hampshire, and the ordinances of the city of Laconia, so help you God. Congratulations, thank you.
Great job, guys.
Everybody's nervous over that, too.
Picture with us or not?
Congratulations. Glad to have you. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Glad to have you guys.
Lieutenant, can you do a picture with the commission?
Yep. You guys step in front of the commission.
Why don't you go out there?
Or have the commissioners come around.
You guys have anything to say?
Here's your chance.
We usually don't look this scruffy either. This is for the Special Olympics, the Winnipesaukee Dip, so it's a fundraiser. So once a year, we're allowed to, or I allow people to grow beard, so.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we usually don't have to.
Razor blades are getting expensive.
Thanks for explaining. Thanks for explaining.
I know, you're the one upstate, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. You guys can smile.
I was just gonna say, it looks like a
Happy
hanging.
time.
Okay.
Excellent. Like that? Very good. All right. Congratulations. Thank you for coming. And if I was you, I wouldn't stay for the rest of the meeting because it's been a board. If you'd like to, you can. It's up to you. I want to meet you again.
The new officer that worked for Walmart, was he in loss prevention?
Huh?
One of the officers says it was with Walmart, was that loss prevention?
No.
Personnel matters, item A, commendations and awards.
Nothing under that category?
Training, the chair recognizes Lieutenant Grayton.
I have a training request for an out-of-state training, be for Officer Short to attend the 10th Annual East Coast Gang Investigators Association. It's an annual conference at the Taunton Holiday Inn in Taunton, Massachusetts. It is a 3-day conference. Total cost for that, including tuition and room, is $535.38. We're also hosting a verbal judo class, which will take place the 23rd of this month. We have gotten 22 paying people to come. They're coming from Rhode Island, Connecticut, Vermont, Maine. So we have that class is pretty well full. We have several of our officers that are going to be going through that class as well. And that's all covered by the tuition from the other students.
You need a motion for,
That, you vote on that later.
okay.
What's the cost of that?
For
verbal.
the verbal judo, it's probably going to be just around $3,200. including his travel and lodging. The instructor, he's coming from North Carolina. We've got the cost of the class covered with paying tuition from the other departments, correct. So our officers will be going through it for free, technically.
Miscellaneous.
Under Laconia Links, fast forward.
Yes, sir.
Actually, can you hit the lights now that we're done with the ceremony so we can see? Thanks. That was the last coffee with the cop at the soda shop. We talked about that, I think, the last commission meeting, but it's a picture. The Winnipesaukee dip for Special Olympics going to be on March 19th. We have a fairly large Laconia Police Department team that'll be participating, and like I said, that's why we have facial hair. If anybody would like to donate, please consider donating to our team. It goes to a great, great cause. That is the 2015 goals and objectives update. We went over that at the last commission meeting, but it's always nice to share that with the public. And then we have the 2016 goals and objectives. I think that's it for the Laconia Links.
Resignations and retirements.
Nothing under that category?
And the hirings we just dealt with.
Yes?
Clear. Promotions and reorganization.
So the promotions that were recently made, those officers are in their new positions, they're doing a great job getting familiar with their new positions and duties. We spoke briefly at the last meeting about the organizational chart and taking the opportunity with the retirement of Captain Clary to really look at the structure of the police department. As you know, we were under a two-captain, two-division system before, and we reviewed this, we looked at it, I worked very closely with Captain Canfield on this, and there's pros and cons to both sides. And one of the pros to the way that we have gone now, which is a single captain with 3 lieutenants, is communication. And oftentimes you hear from employees or staff misinterpretation, maybe lack of communication because of the 2 divisions and 2 captains. So we decided to go this way. Of course, we can always go back. It's a lot easier to go back, but to take away a position is a lot harder. So I'm pleased so far. I've heard positive comments. You have a copy of the organizational chart in front of you. You'll see the chief of police at the top with the captain, Captain Canfield, and 3 lieutenants. The detective lieutenant, which is Tom Sweat, the patrol lieutenant, which is Rich Simmons, and the administrative lieutenant, which is Al Grayton, and then you have the legal bureau with prosecutor Jim Sawyer. I would be happy to entertain any questions, or if anybody, the captain, if you have anything else to add on that. Yes.
This new structure, Chief, may not be, extremely high, but it will be cost savings to some extent too, won't it?
Well, yes, there will be some, because you're not going to have the 2 captains, so there will be some savings in that area.
Chief, just wondering if there was much discussion within the department about the new structure, and whether there was some feeling among some of the people, there was some now limited opportunity for upward advancement, and how you've dealt with that.
That was definitely a concern. I did not get a department-wide consensus. I've been doing a lot of one-on-one interviews, and a common theme in those interviews was the communication, sometimes the confusion that existed with the 2-captain system. I have heard nothing but positive reactions so far since the implementation of this. Of course, it was sent out to the department along with the reasoning behind it. So I've been happy so far. It's been in place now, not that long, but long enough that I think if there was a large negative consensus, that we probably would have heard it by now. But that is a legitimate concern, and it crossed my mind and the captain's mind as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, commissioners?
Yeah, what's the city officials' reaction to this?
I don't think there is any, no, I mean,
They don't
obviously,
carry the-
if this gets into the paper, I don't see any effect on city council, or, I mean, they might have questions, but I can't see any concerns or anything like that.
Chief,
Yes.
when you have realized some savings because of the restructuring here, are you able to keep those difference in funds in the department, or is it the city, they go back to the city?
No, that would stay within our budget,
Stays with the PD? Okay.
absolutely.
That would be under the salary component.
That's under the salary component, but as you know, we're a bottom-line budget, we're not a line-item budget, so we're able to kind of
Shift things.
juggle and shift things around. Of course, the captain in his new position has been learning the ways with Captain Clary. We're fortunate that Captain Clary is still with us on a part-time basis, so he's able to help us through the times. But Matt's been doing a really great job going through everything, learning the ropes, working with personnel at City Hall on the budget, and I think he's going to be fine. Wouldn't you say?
I would agree.
Okay.
Good. Division Bureau Commander, Captain Canfield.
So as the chief said, I have been working quite a bit on the budgetary stuff with Donna over in the finance department. So we've kind of built the bond there, working together. She's been helping out and refreshing my memory. Did a little bit of it back when I was a lieutenant upstairs, so it's definitely coming back to me. Motorcycle Week planning is underway in full swing. We'll be meeting with the Special Events Committee with the city every month from now until Motorcycle Week in June, which is promising to have some bigger events this year. We're getting ready for the mock assessment in April in preparation for our reaccreditation. That's to take place in August. That's a considerable amount of work, especially for Robin, and a lot of the lieutenants and stuff will be tasked with a lot of the stuff to come up with the proofs and stuff like that of the stuff we've been doing.
Captain, how often does that reaccreditation come up? Every year, every 2 years, or what?
Every 3 years right now. and
Every
it's going
3
to
years?
a 5-year system. After this accreditation, it'll be every 5 years.
Okay,
However, they'll be going into our files every year, checking some of the files.
Yeah.
But then the onsite will be every 5 years instead.
okay.
I have a question.
Sir?
Captain Canfield, I'm just wondering, now, Bill Clary had duties and you had duties under the previous organization. So I assume that you've assumed, do you have all the same duties you had before, plus some of his,
No, I
or
don't.
have
They've
you?
been divided up.
Okay.
Some of the duties, I still do,
Yeah.
like the motorcycle week plan like I did before, but a lot of the duties have been divided amongst the lieutenants and
Lieutenants,
myself.
okay. But you're the budget guy from here on out, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if the commissioners got page 2, maybe you did, but you can review that later on, because that has clarification of all the duties for each of the positions, and it outlines the duties for all of them, so.
Didn't flip it over, chief. Sorry,
No, that's okay.
my bad.
No, that's no problem at all.
Support Bureau.
Yes.
I don't have anything right now, no.
Okay.
Talk about the new people?
The next process, okay. We are conducting another hiring process. We called over 300 people to have them come do a physical agility test. Just over 50 responded that they would show. I think we had 25 that showed. Out of that 25, 18 passed. We just had the oral boards for those 18 Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and they're going to be going through the chief's interview on Friday and Monday. So we will be trying to get another 3 officers. We need 3 more.
Going back, I meant to ask you, these 3 new officers, any time schedule when they might be going to the academy?
Hopefully May.
All 3 of them?
Yes.
Good.
At what point in time do they do the psychological, or take the psychological?
During the background investigation, we schedule them for a psychological evaluation. Usually after the polygraph.
Will the 3, if we get 3 people out of this batch, this group, will that bring us to full staffing?
Yes, it will.
Yes.
We have several very solid candidates, so we changed the oral interview process a little bit so we can take out some of the issues that we may have caught later in a background investigation. Rather than getting to that point and spending another 15 or 20 hours doing a background, we cut them out at the front end, so.
Operations Bureau, Lieutenant Simmons is not here. Anybody going to speak to that?
He's working patrol right now. I can speak a little bit to it. He's working on getting the DARE program in the middle school up and going. I think they've had some scheduling conflicts with them, so they're just trying to nail that down and get that going.
Detective Bureau, the chair recognizes Lieutenant Sweat.
Don't have a lot to start off my first meeting, but just want to let you know that Sergeant Butler and the other detectives, very easy to work with. It seems to have been a pretty seamless transition, so looking forward going ahead.
Good. Legal Bureau, Prosecutor Sawyer's not here.
No, I think he may be in court, so.
Okay. Orders and bulletins. The chair recognizes Lieutenant Grayton. I think we have no...
The only orders that we had were the 3 promotions that were done during the last meeting, and those became effective February 1st. So you have Lieutenant Sweat.
And we will entertain a motion for approval of the schooling.
I move we approve the schooling.
Here you go, sir. If you want to pass it along.
Is there a second?
I second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Consider it done. The, excuse me, the secretary's draft of the minutes was sent to you, and a copy is in your meeting packet. Please let me know if there are any errors, omissions. Are there any corrections to the minutes as distributed? If there are no corrections, the minutes stand accepted as distributed.
No suggestions.
Review of monthly activity reports. Chief Adams.
Before I go into the year-end report on the crime stats, did you guys have any questions on anything else within the monthly activity reports?
Yeah, what day are you going to have in February coffee with a call?
I don't know, I haven't set a date yet. I think I'm going to I might have it actually, we might host it, I was thinking of hosting it at the police department and then doing a tour of the station, so.
Yep, good.
It'll be the end of February or early March. So I'll let you know.
All right.
So this is the latest information for the year-end 2015, and I'll just touch on categories and then some specifics within the categories, some of the larger numbers that we have. So for crimes against person, and this isn't 100% accurate, but it's pretty close. And for the year-end, we had 665 cases compared to 671 in 2014. So that's an approximate 1%. I'm going off of this chart right here. These numbers are going to be a little different because I just ran these today, but they shouldn't be that different. So just to highlight some of the key areas, aggravated assaults, which are really felony-level assaults. So serious assaults, 2015, we saw a slight increase by 2. We're at 45 compared to 43 in 2014. Simple assault, which is basically misdemeanor-level assaults, we went down to 420 in 2015 compared to 441 in 2014, so a 5% decrease. And intimidation, which is basically criminal threatening, we were up slightly, 135 cases in 15 compared to 133 in 2014. So overall, for crimes against person, down by 1%. Crimes against property, we had a slight increase overall of 2%, total of 1,125 cases in 2015 compared to 1,104 for 2014. A couple of the key areas, robberies, which is use of force in the commission of a theft. It can be like a convenience store robbery, being held up by gunpoint, or somebody using physical force, stealing a wallet. In 2014, we had 19. Last year, we had 7, so that was a decrease of 63%, which is pretty significant. The other big one is burglary, both commercial, residential break-ins. We were down slightly in 2015. We had 77 compared to 79 in 2014. So that's always a number we look at closely. We've had years where we've been over 100, 120, so this number is going down.
Are you, Chief?
Yes.
I was wondering if you were a little surprised about those numbers, given the drug issue going on in the city, and usually the corresponding increase in property crimes?
Yes,
Can you explain that, or?
I'm surprised, and I think we talked about this maybe at the last meeting or 2 meetings ago, because a lot of communities are seeing a big increase in criminal activity, especially crimes against property, just because there are a lot of people suffering from addiction who are looking to feed their habits. But for some reason, and I'm not quite sure exactly why, I hope that some of it is because of the initiatives that we're doing, Eric Adams' position, public awareness and things like that, that we're not seeing that huge increase. We are seeing the increase at Walmart, and we've talked about that, and you'll see that reflected in these numbers for shoplifting, but overall, we're not. So we're pretty fortunate that we haven't seen an enormous increase, and I'm just hoping that trend continues into this year. But great point.
Walmart. Probably, actually, the increase probably isn't, we're saying the increase because of the entrance now being in Laconia.
I think it's a,
Probably, the number of crimes probably hasn't increased, you know.
yeah, I think you're probably right, but it's probably a combination of everything. Obviously, it being in Laconia now, the loss prevention, and probably an increase in shoplifting
Yeah.
cases. But you're right when you said about that. The only other category, criminal mischief under property crimes, we're down 14%, 254 cases last year compared to 294 the year before. Crimes against society, we had an 83% increase from 244 to 133. And the biggest factor is the drug cases, drug investigation cases. There were 211 in 2015 compared to 118. I think that's just the detective division, patrol division, the narcotics division doing an outstanding job creating investigations, making arrests. So that number, of course, is going to increase. And then Group B crimes, which is driving while intoxicated, intoxication arrests, things like that, we had a 4% decrease, 1,092 in 2015 and 1,142 in 2014. So overall, no surprises. You know, we're always looking to lower our crime rate, there's no question. It is a little high for a community our size, but we continue to look at our numbers, try to be proactive instead of reactive, and yeah, I'm hopeful that these numbers will continue to decline.
Chief, have you received any comments, or do you hear any comments at all about the housing on Messer Street? How is that working out?
Housing on Messer Street,
Well,
refresh my memory.
For the drugs, you know,
That rehab.
Oh, I'm sorry. Any from civilians or anything like
yeah,
that?
I mean,
I have not heard anything negative from civilians. At some of the meetings, it's brought up in conversation. usually in a positive way. I have a phone call to one of the directors over there, and he did return my phone call. We have not spoken yet, just to kind of get, I know you had some questions, and we certainly can set up a meeting for you to view the facilities and talk. But no, we haven't heard a lot of negative. I'm not sure if anybody else can speak on that, but I haven't. Only one other item here to note for the year-end report. Our volunteer division gave 421 hours of volunteer time. That's the volunteer division. I wanted to get the police department's volunteer, because a lot of the officers volunteer for many, many different things, including Special Olympics and things like that, but I couldn't get that number for the meeting, but I will get that for you, just so you see it. But that's hundreds of hours also of volunteer time, so something to be proud of.
I think there was mention in here someplace of working with Walmart regarding the shoplifting. How?
Right, we talked about that at the last meeting. There's a conference coming up in Tilton that we're going to be attending, along with management from our Walmart, to see if we can come up with some sort of game plan, working together, so that we can lower. Obviously, it takes us many, many man-hours to investigate. There's some shifts we're up there 3 to 4 times in a shift, making arrests a lot of the time. So to find a way that we can decrease those numbers, so it's beneficial for them and for us as well. And I think that's, when is that, Lieutenant, coming up, right?
That was last week.
That was last week? Okay.
They also have a very aggressive loss prevention team that works up there, so they're actively doing that. That's why the activity appears to be more, versus some other stores that might not have as aggressive of a team going after the shoplifters. The more aggressive you are, the more cases you're going to generate, too.
You know, Chief, for example, in Concord at the Walmart over there, vis-à-vis the police department, whether they're having the similar high-activity volume of stuff there, or do they have a different working relationship, or?
I don't know their number. Do you know? I don't specifically know their numbers. I can only assume that all of these big box stores are seeing similar types of, and a lot of them really build in that loss into their operational budget. And a lot of these national chains won't even call the police because it's built in. This Walmart does. I'm not sure if that's unique to this Walmart or if it's just organizational philosophy, but yeah, it's a big problem. It's millions and millions of dollars lost every year.
We did a POP project several years ago. I think you headed that up, looking at the retail theft, too. And some of the stores where we ran into that is that it's a corporation decision, at headquarters in another state, and the local stores don't have control over that. So it is built right into their profit for the loss part of it. But it can be difficult.
Monthly fleet report, Lieutenant Grayton.
You have any questions on anything? We have, the new van is in service. I'm just working on a directive for the camera that's installed in the cage, when that's going to be downloaded. We will be retiring the utility truck that we had due to frame rust issues on that. And we'll take the ACO van that's being currently used now by the ACO and make that like our utility vehicle. And then the ACO will get the older transport van.
Is that the box truck, the old box truck?
Yes, yeah. The frame on the back of that is beyond repair, so.
We're done, well, just that one. We had 2 at one time, right?
We had 2. One was given to the CERT team.
Yeah.
Criminal investigative statistics, Lieutenant Sweat.
Remarkably steady. As the chief noted, the big uptick would be in the warrants, and I think a lot of that has to do with the way we're handling our drug cases now. To put this in context, in January 2015, we had a transition. Detective Noyes went on to be Sergeant Noyes. Dan Carson was put in a position of leading the unit. I came into BCI. During that year, we hired 2, so everything is flowing very nicely now, which is why I think we see such a big uptick in our drug activity. So it's going very well.
Computer-related. Can you give me an example of a computer-related crime?
There are a number of aspects that use that. We get harassment cases that come through the computer, fraud cases. Mostly it's people not getting along with each other, trying to figure out who's doing what to whom.
And drug intel sheets. Can you explain that to me?
We encourage all the employees, but particularly our patrol officers, are out there talking to a lot of different people to develop leads for our drug detectives to follow up on. We'll have neighbors that are saying there's something suspicious happening here, or family will call and say there's something going on with my son or my daughter, and we'll take those, and depending on what other information we have, it may lead to an investigation, or there's another category here, which is a knock and talk. Sometimes if there's not a whole lot there and it's a quality of life issue in a neighborhood, we'll just send somebody to knock on the door and say, hey, what's going on here?
Going on. Thank you.
I have a question. Lieutenant Swett, do a lot of, how's the breakdown in terms of people assigned for daytime shift and nighttime shift in the Detective Bureau?
Right now, it's pretty much Monday through Friday,
Yeah.
and we have talked about different matrices to move people around.
Yeah. Monday through Friday, you mean day shift?
Right.
Yeah.
And I've even discussed that with the drug detectives. It's almost counterintuitive, but a lot of what they do really is best during the day for the contacts they have to make. And we make allowances in their schedule that if something does come up, it requires them to work into the evening or to come in on a weekend, we accommodate that.
So if, I'm sorry.
I was just going to follow up on his response.
If an incident happens during the evening shift, and there's a need for a detective person to be on the scene or respond to that, as well as the patrol division? Is that an overtime situation, or is that how do you decide who gets to go to that, I guess?
Well, like the other night when I went out, that was a freebie, so that worked out well. But I did call out Detective Sergeant Butler and Detective Neary, and they have the option of either overtime or comp time.
Okay.
If it's a scheduled issue, again, if we're accommodating schedules, I'll expect them to sort of adjust a bit and take some other time off. But if it's a call-out, it falls under a different part of the policies.
We routinely adjust people's schedules for stuff that we can anticipate, both in patrol and detectives. Or we adjust the schedules as we can.
That does not become a contractual issue.
It's not written into the contract, so we can change their schedules.
Patrol division statistics, Chief Adams?
Are we at the traffic statistics? Is that where we're at? The only thing I was going to note is we had a nice decrease in motor vehicle collisions. January, we had 32 of this year, and I think compared to the year before, there was 62. I think, once again, it's the weather. We talked about that. We did have a couple of little snowstorms. One of them, I think we had 12 accidents in a 2-hour, 3-hour period, so. And nothing else.
Budget printout, Captain Canfield.
Everything's on track. I've been working pretty closely with the Finance Department at City Hall, and I think we're looking pretty good at the moment.
Do you have any idea, Captain, when you'll be going before the council for the budget?
I don't think we've gotten a date yet.
They changed it last year, so probably sometime in June. We will be meeting with Scott, the city manager, in the near future, just to sit down and go over our numbers. We've already submitted our numbers for this upcoming budget. They didn't see any real issues. We're pretty much level funded in every category.
So, Chief, I noticed that we approved a number of training requests today, but the status as of the 12th, that budget
still looking?
account is pretty low.
Are we still looking for money to be reimbursed to us for any of our Homeland Security?
No.
I know,
Security.
I knew we did at some point.
It's been,
And that's not uncommon. Like I said before, there are times that we will over-expend a line item, or we under-expend another line item, and we can fill that in. Absolutely.
And it's only at, what, 54% spent?
What's that?
That line item's at 54%?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's actually, it's not bad right now.
No, no.
You can move stuff in there without
Absolutely.
getting anybody's approval to do that.
That's correct. As long as we live within the existing budget, we can transfer,
Salaries, if you have, like, extra money there, too?
yes. And our training line item is pretty low. It's not that high. I want to say was it 15 or something, or
$20.
20?
Ammunition comes out of that,
Right.
which is,
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so it's real,
so,
if you remember with the police academy cutting back on some of the free classes, we've had to pay a little more for classes, so it's really easy to overexpend that line item.
Monthly traffic statistics.
That's what I already did, I'm sorry. That was the accident report I just gave.
This also involves parking tickets, violations.
Yep. If you have any questions on that, be happy to answer them.
The snow removal period, has there been any outcry from the public regarding?
I haven't heard anything
part.
for ticketing for that. I haven't heard anything yet. Captain, you hear any grumbling, or?
no.
Correspondence to and from the department? Chief Adams?
That's an email from Steve Laughlin commenting on Officer Cardinal. She was working one of the wards during voting, and he loves to take pictures, so he took a picture of Officer Cardinal babysitting somebody's child while they voted. This is just a letter to the owner of the soda shop, thanking them for the use of their business for Coffee with a Cop. This is an employee at Primex, but I believe also maybe a city councilor for Somersworth, New Hampshire. Eric Adams went down there and met with a group of people and kind of discussed the initiative that we're doing here and what we're doing to combat the heroin issue. That's a thank you to the drug detectives Kendra Neri and Dan Carson for helping out a situation on Academy Street. This was a thank you from, I think, Employment Security. We gave a safety talk, Sergeant Hubbard did, so they're very thankful for that. This is a producer from CNN. They came and visited us, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. They're highlighting the primary and the heroin issue within the state and the nation and what we were doing as a department, and Eric Adams and his position. I'll send you a link, but here's just a printout of it. They did a on-the-air story and an online story. The on-the-air one really highlighted Manchester Police, but the story online highlighted what Eric was doing and what we were doing as a community and a police department, so I think it really portrayed us in a very positive light, so. And we get requests quite a bit. Fox News had called us and they wanted to come, and so it's really getting out there. This is an email from, I believe it's an attorney from Portland, Oregon, who actually saw the piece on CNN and was commenting how impressed he was that we were taking a different approach than many police departments, and it wasn't just all enforcement, but a balanced approach, so. It's a thank you note from, I think it was a parent of a kid that we dealt with.
Chief, is the state still showing an interest in Eric's
Yes.
program?
Absolutely. And we presented several times to state legislators, the Governor's Commission on Alcohol and Drug Abuse. We've been asked to present again, not as a police department, but as a community, and what we're doing as a community. So the schools are going to be involved, Partners in Prevention, the police department. That's going to be presenting in front of, I'm not sure which committee it is, but it's a state committee, so they're definitely interested in it and launching this program with other communities throughout the state. This was an invitation for the Police Cadet Academy. This is for kids that are interested in law enforcement. Every summer, there's a 1 week or 2 week police academy for kids, and Officer Holly Callanan has been on the staff, and they were asking her to be back on the staff again. Great program, and she does a great job with it as well. And I think that's it for correspondences.
Chief report.
Performance assessment cards, we had 24 this month, and I believe that they were all A's.
Every one of them.
We already talked about the department reorganization, and we talked about the year-end stats. Laconia, how it works, this is a new TV program that Lakes Region Public Access TV is doing. Dave Stamps is the producer. Basically, they're going to be reaching out to every department within the city and interviewing the heads and employees and talking about how each department works. They started off with the police department. We recorded 4 shows, which was great. The first one was on the history of LPD, kind of how we've morphed into the community policing aspect. And then the second one was substance misuse, so Eric was on it, I was on it, Dan Carson was on it. And actually, I think they air tonight. So tonight, 6 p.m. and 6:30, they'll air both of those episodes. So looking forward to watching it and recording the next 2. And that's all I have under the report. If you have any questions.
Any involvement with that? There's an organization that's trying to put a new kind of homeless shelter down on Court Street. Is the department involved in that at all? Or?
We belong to the Homeless Coalition, so we go to those meetings every year, and obviously the conversation spawned out of those meetings. So we have indirect connection with it, but it's not, we didn't make the call. We're just part of that organization, and obviously we have a problem with homelessness. We've talked about those that live on the streets pretty much year-round, and then those families who couch surf. I think this facility is going to be geared more towards families, and during the winter months, and then in the off-season, I think they're going to have it as a hospice for people that are visiting the area, and that's on Court Street.
Is it operational now, Chief?
No, I believe October is when they're looking to open it up.
Old business, anything under old business?
Nope,
New business?
nothing.
Nothing. Confirm the date of the next regular meeting or special meeting.
March 17.
March 17th, 2016. Other business. Citizen comments.
Can you scroll back to shoplifting? I never saw the shoplifting stats.
Dennis, could you please speak to the microphone and also identify yourself?
Yeah. Basically, it was going so fast, I couldn't see the shoplifting stats.
I'll take them off of mine. Dennis, just give me a second. So in 2015, there was 206, and there was 130 in 2014.
What I'm kind of viewing is trying to look at, I've noticed from past experience that there was also like correlation between certain dates, like the holiday season seems to be an uptick in the shoplifting scenario. And that's why I was just trying to see if there was comparative stats on that.
Yeah, if you look at December, there was 27 shoplifting cases. Go back to July, there was 15. August, there was 12. September 17th, so it slowly increases as you get into December and close to the holidays, so
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Okay. Another question, too. This kind of backdates a little bit on the assault on the, I forget the house now. on the Audette residence, where did the intelligence come from that the perpetrator was at his residence?
I'm not familiar with the case.
That'll be the one on River Street. River Street.
Okay.
Yes. Where did the information come from that the perpetrator was at the residence?
I don't think we can talk about it because it's still an ongoing case.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I just, right within the 2 minutes. Thank you.
I was just say, yeah, we're at.
2 minutes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there a need for non-public session?
There is not?
Yeah.
Any further business to come before the meeting? If not, I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So what is on at 6:30 tonight?
6 and 6:30.
Two programs they aired. David Simpson program.
25.
26.
So